I've been secretly paying my boyfriend's rent for 2 years because he thinks he's a struggling artist, but I just found out he comes from a billionaire family and has been testing me to see if I'm a gold digger. For the last 2 years, I've been working 2 jobs, one as a receptionist and another bartending on weekends, just to make ends meet. Leo is a painter. He's passionate, chaotic, and completely broke. Or at least, that's what I thought. He's always talking about how the art world is rigged and how he can barely afford his brushes, let alone rent. Here's the thing that makes me feel like the biggest idiot on the planet. When we first started dating, he was about to get evicted. I couldn't bear the thought of him living on the street, but I knew his pride wouldn't let him take money from me directly. So, I pulled some strings. His landlord happens to be an old friend of my uncle. I made a secret deal where I pay $1,500 of Leo's rent every month directly to the landlord, and the landlord charges Leo a special rate of $500. Leo thinks he just got incredibly lucky with a rent-controlled miracle. For 2 years, I have been eating instant noodles, skipping nights out with friends, and wearing whole-filled shoes just so I could subsidize his life. I wanted him to follow his dreams without the crushing weight of debt. Yesterday, I was over at his place cleaning up a pile of junk mail he'd been ignoring. I knocked over a stack of magazines and a heavy, black envelope slid out. It looked too official to be junk. I opened it. It was a quarterly statement from a wealth management firm. It wasn't just a savings account. It was a trust fund distribution report. The balance at the bottom was over $12 million. His last name on the document was hyphenated, linking him to one of the biggest real estate families in the state. I googled him immediately and there he was, standing in a tuxedo at a gala 3 years ago, looking nothing like the guy who wears paint-stained rags. He has watched me cry over electric bills. He watched me pick up extra shifts when I had the flu. He has millions, and he let me struggle to pay his rent. Update. 2 days later, the anger just kept building in my chest until it felt like a physical weight. I realized that if I just ghosted him, he would turn it into some tragic story about how his girlfriend abandoned him when times got tough, fueling his tortured artist persona. I couldn't let him have that satisfaction. I needed him to know exactly how much of a fool he made of me, and more importantly, how much of a monster he had been. I went over to his apartment yesterday evening. He was in front of his easel, working on a canvas, and he looked up with that boyish, innocent smile that used to make my heart melt. He asked me if I could pick up some wine because he was short on cash until he sold his next piece. That was the trigger. I didn't even yell. I just felt this cold, hard calm wash over me. I threw the black envelope on the table right into his wet paint. I asked him if he was ever going to tell me that his family owns half the city or if he was planning to let me work myself into an early grave forever. He froze. His face went completely pale, but then, to my horror, he started laughing. He actually chuckled. He told me that I wasn't supposed to find that, but maybe it was a good thing. He said that he comes from a world where everyone wants him for his money, and he needed to be sure I loved him for him, not the family name. He told me that I had passed the test with flying colors and that now he could finally spoil me. He looked at me like I should be grateful. I stared at him and told him that this wasn't a test, it was torture. I told him about the nights I stayed awake anxious about groceries. I told him about the reception shift I took on my birthday because I needed the overtime. He waved his hand dismissively and said that it built character and that our relationship was stronger for it. He clearly didn't get it. He thought he was the hero of a romantic comedy. That's when I dropped the bomb. I looked him dead in the eye and told him that he hadn't been living on a lucky break for the last 2 years. I told him that I had been paying $1,500 of his rent every single month. I told him that while he was playing starving artist to test my loyalty, I was subsidizing his lifestyle with money I didn't have.